want to tell you a story about a god of the Northmen called Balder. The second son of Odin, he was beautiful, good, and wise. He was fair of feature, he spoke fair words, he gave fair judgments. Light shone from him. Only good things were told of him. Yet he was the first of the gods to die. The Northmen tell this story about the death of Balder. It begins with dark dreams. Night after night, Balder dreams of his own death, and the gods fear for his life. So Balder's mother makes everything in the world: fire, water, iron, stone, earth, wood, beasts, birds, serpents, poison, sickness, swear an oath not to harm her sons. One by one, they each make their vow. Neither weapons nor wood will injure him, Balder's mother boasts. Only Loki, father of Hela, the mistress of death, is not amused.
You need the runes to find Dillion. He's waiting for you. He always said he's close. He cares about you. He's close. He loves you. Calling you. Dillion. Dillion, we're here. Dillion. We're nearly here. Dillion, there he is. There he is. What are you waiting for? Quick, find a way. Find him. Go through before he disappears. Dillion, don't lose him. Slip away too many times. Where is he? Where's he gone? We're in the wrong world. He's not Dillion. She's in the wrong world. He's not in this world. He's in the other one. He's in the other one. He's in the dark world. The dark.
The world once seemed so simple. Black and white. Darkness and light. Narrow dividing lines of our own making. Dillion taught her to see further. To peek through the cracks and see the worlds of colour stretching away from the gloom. And Senua explored new paths into the unknown.
She remembers him. Do you remember meeting him beneath the tree?
The gods feast and rejoice and amuse themselves by throwing spears and stones at Balder, striking at him with sword and axe. But he comes to no harm, whatever they do. The gods never cease to wonder at this great marvel. But Loki shapes himself into a woman and asks Balder's mother, "Is it really true that all things promise to keep him safe?" "I did not ask the mistletoe," Balder's mother confesses. "I thought it was too young."
Do you think she...
Oh dear.
Senua, you've got it.
Why isn't he here?
He's gone.
He's in the dark world.
He's gone to the dark world.
You're in the wrong world.
He's in the other world.
The dark world.
Without you.
Do you remember him whispering in your ear?
He's the reason she's alive at all.
You have been cursed, and now the darkness swallows your soul. Where are you taking me?
He's up there.
How do you get up there?
There's a way.
She thought she could
There is a way up there.
find the way.
She can do it. You're nearly there. She'll find the way.
Loki makes a dart out of mistletoe and goes to the gods as they throw things at Balder. The blind god, Hud, was there. Loki asks him why he wasn't taking part. Hud says, "I cannot see where Balder stands, and even if I could see him, I have no weapon." Loki replies, "Here is a wand. I will tell you where he stands." And Hud throws the mistletoe at Balder. It pierces through him, and to everyone's horror, Balder is killed.
He didn't know.
And for this, Hud is slain. The Northmen tell how the gods mourned Balder. His body was to be burnt on his ship, but they could not manage to push it into the sea, and sent for a giantess to do it. She comes riding a wolf and has vipers for her reins. She pushes Balder's ship into the sea with such force that the ground shakes and the rollers burst into flames. When Balder's wife sees his body carried onto the ship, her heart bursts with grief, and she dies. She's put next to her husband, and the pyre is lit, sending the dead to hell. But even so, the gods cannot accept his death.
Was it worth it?
Overcome with grief, the gods send Hermod to ride to Hell and ask Hela to let Balder return home. All the gods are weeping, he says. Are they? Asks Hela. We shall see if he is truly missed. If everything in the world will weep for him, he shall go back to the gods. But if even one thing refuses, Balder stays with me. The gods send messengers everywhere. Weep for Balder, weep him out of hell. And everything wept. Men, beasts, earth, stone, trees, metal, everything. Except for a giantess they find in a cave. Balder was never my friend, she says. Let Hel keep what she has. The Northmen say that the giantess must have been Loki in disguise.
He's the reason she keeps fighting.
He let you astray.
You kill the things that are most precious to you. Damon didn't deserve this.
The curse cannot be.
Do you remember what love feels like?
The Northmen tell how the gods punished Loki for Baldur's death. They captured him and took him to a cave. They fetched his 2 sons and turned one into a wolf, and he ripped his brother apart. The gods used Loki's own son's entrails to tie him down and turned these bonds to iron and dangled a poisonous serpent over his face so that its venom would drip onto him. Each time the venom drips onto Loki's face, he writhes in agony. The Northmen say that is the cause of earthquakes. A reminder, perhaps, that if even gods must accept death, then so must we. The Northmen tell how the gods punished Loki for Baldur's death. They captured him and took him to a cave. They fetched his 2 sons and turned one into a wolf, and he ripped his brother apart. The gods used Loki's own son's entrails to tie him down and turned these bonds to iron and dangled a poisonous serpent over his face so that its venom would drip onto him. Each time the venom drips onto Loki's face, he writhes in agony. The Northmen say that is the cause of earthquakes. A reminder, perhaps, that if even gods must accept death,
He was the only
then so must we.
He led you astray. You should have listened to your father when you had the chance. Why didn't you listen to me? But his love has tortured you, and it tortures Dillian.
Years had passed since she left her father. She trained hard alongside her friend, Dillian. She saw things no one else could. Patterns, shapes, movement. An intuition that made her an exceptional warrior.
Was it worth it? You're still alive and Dillian
Friendship turned to love,
deserved to be dead. Does that make you feel?
but the shadow of darkness never let her go, and she was caught between 2 worlds. That of Zinbel and her past, and Dillian, her future. 2 realities tearing at her soul.
Dillian didn't believe in the curse. Dillian believed in you. What if this is pointless? What are you doing? Why did you think you could make this work? You keep seeing runes. You see runes everywhere. Everywhere. What if they're not real? What if they don't actually make sense? They're a trick. The gods were lying. The way you think it makes sense, but really the gods are playing with you. It makes sense in your mind, but it doesn't make sense in the worlds. The gods, but it doesn't mean anything. You can't read this language. You don't understand.
Sinbel was right.
You're wasting time.
You're cursed. Whispering in your ear.
Slow.
Quicker. Do you remember meeting him beneath the tree?
What if they're all about wasting your time? Just delay. To find Annabelle's noses there. What does she think she's doing? She says in a way that nobody else does. Special. She thinks she.
They mean nothing.
Special. Waste of time. It would be a waste of her time.
What if the gods are just
Playing.
What if the gods are laughing?
Messing with her.
It wouldn't be
It's the first time. She thought that she knew best.
She thought she had light within her when she has only.
She is pure darkness. Do you remember the way he looked?
He was the only one she could trust.
Could she trust him? Everything gets broken in the end.
You killed him with your love because he believed in you. Look what happens to the things you love.
It's all your fault.
It's all your fault.
You're cursed. He saw that she was strong.
Remember Dillion?
What do you remember?
Do you remember the sound of his voice?
Do you remember the way he touched you? You have no chance of loving him.
Nobody will love you again.
Ever again.
Nobody will love her.
Can you remember what love feels like?
Look what happens to the
Best
things she
you
loves.
She destroys the things she loves.
Dillion never much cared for the underworld, and looked dimly upon the druids, like her father, Zinbel. I guess he took after his father, a chieftain who believed nothing he couldn't see, and he happened to be blind. She felt safe in Dillion's arms, learned to see the world through his eyes. And slowly, the darkness that had bound her so tightly began to unravel. You're going to fall, careful.
No, she's not. She's not going to fall. She's strong. She's steady. She can do it. You can do it, Senua. Be very, very careful.
You come this far, don't make it slip away.
It's a narrow bridge. And there's only light to fall. It's your fault. He's disappeared. You've lost him to the sea. He's gone. You've lost him. He's gone to the water. He's drowned.
Senua, your father cannot understand your darkness. He cannot see through your eyes. No one can. My own father was born blind. Doesn't have the faintest idea of what the night looks like. The word dark to him means as little as the word light. So if someone is afraid of the dark, should we fix them by taking away their sight? Would you give up the beautiful world that you, and only you, can see just to be rid of your nightmares? Or is this the price you pay for the gift you have? A gift that makes you so special in my eyes. Just another part of the person I know.
I left for the wilds to protect you from my darkness. Because I love you. But it made it worse. I'm so sorry.
What if this is pointless? What if you're wrong?